Nations shape their own historical narratives, yet they do so within a broader context and not in isolation or according to their whims. Few understand this reality better than the Arab world. Positioned at the crossroads of Africa, Asia, and Europe, the Arab region has consistently attracted geopolitical tensions due to its strategically significant land passages and water routes, heightened by the discovery of valuable hydrocarbon resources. Throughout the 20th century, Arab societies aspired to free themselves from external influences and establish independent states. The notion of a grand Arab state captured imaginations, a vast entity stretching from the Atlantic coast of Morocco to the Nile River in Egypt, encompassing the desert landscapes of Saudi Arabia and extending to the Fertile Crescent in Iraq. In contemporary terms, an Arab superstate would encompass a population of 436 million and boast a GDP of $2.7 trillion, ranking 3rd and 7th globally, respectively. During its inception in the 20th century, the pursuit of nation-building in the Arab world was facilitated by a shared cultural foundation, common language, and the Islamic faith. From these roots, sentiments of pan-Arabism and pan-Islamism led to various attempts at unity, all of which ultimately failed. Instead of coalescing into a single entity, the Arab world remains as divided as ever, comprising 22 sovereign states. The question then arises, what hindered the realization of an Arab superstate? On the surface, the Arab world may seem like a fragmented collection of states, marked by jagged borders and accentuated by ethno-religious and sectarian divisions that amplify geographic fault lines. However, this fragmented appearance obscures the region's complex history. In reality, the Arab world has experienced periods of both stability and upheaval. The early Islamic conquests in the mid-7th century resulted in the Umayyad Caliphate, overseeing an empire stretching from Portugal to Pakistan. The rapid acquisition of Byzantine territory led to the assimilation of sizable Jewish and Christian communities into the Khalifa. Upon the overthrow of the Umayyads by the Abbasid dynasty, policies of tolerance were upheld. Under Islamic law, non-Muslims were subject to specific taxes but also received special privileges, allowing societies to generally maintain their own beliefs and customs. The legacies of the Umayyad and Abbasid periods provided a framework for the flourishing of intellectual culture. Cities like Baghdad, Damascus, and Cairo emerged as centers of learning, fostering advancements in philosophy, theology, culture, science, and law. The translation of Greek classics into Arabic contributed to the preservation of knowledge, facilitating its later transmission to the Western canon and playing a role in the European Renaissance. The Arab Golden Age, above all, established a shared cultural foundation that many regional leaders have since sought to draw upon. Despite enduring national ambitions, the Arab homeland experienced Ottoman hegemony from the 16th century onward, placing Arab societies under Turkish rule. Treatment of Arabs under Ottoman rule varied over time, at times repressive and often more lenient. By the 18th century, declining Ottoman power invited British and French influence into the Middle East. The promotion of Christian missions and schools in Lebanon, Mesopotamia, and the Levant facilitated the introduction of European ideas, including the novel concepts of secularism and nationalism, into the Arab world. Simultaneously, the Arab Muslim community underwent a significant transformation. The decline of the Ottoman Empire gave rise to the national question among subject societies. Movements such as the Nahda reformers emerged, blending Islamic solidarity with the European concept of a nation-state. These ideas quickly spread to the Levant and Arabia, gaining further credibility from the success of Slavic nationalists in the Balkans in casting aside Ottoman rule. Despite Arab clans seeking independence by aligning with the Anglo-French alliance in World War I, their aspirations were shattered when Paris and London partitioned the Arab homeland between themselves. Anti-Western sentiment intensified, fueled by British support for Jewish settlers in Palestine. A new philosophy was deemed necessary to preserve cohesion and accommodate Arab diversity against imperial powers. Drawing inspiration from the historic Arab conquests, the idea of an Arab superstate spanning from Morocco to Iraq gained traction, leveraging the region's strategic geography, human capital, and natural resources. Post-World War II, the era of decolonization provided an opportunity for the realization of pan-Arab unions. The initial proposal was the Fertile Crescent Union, aiming to unify the Hashemite kingdoms of Iraq and Jordan with Syria and Palestine. While the plan had geographic cohesion along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, political obstacles obstacles arose. The establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine rendered full implementation impractical. A decade later, pan-Arab aspirations found renewed vigor with Gamal Abdel Nasser's United Arab Republic. Following Cairo's successful coercion of Britain, France, and Israel during the 1956 Suez Crisis, other Arab nations looked to Egypt for leadership, with Syria, for example, placing itself under Cairo's control. In 1958, with the consent of both populations, Egypt and Syria unified. Shortly thereafter, the North Yemeni monarchy joined the Confederation, aiming to leverage Egyptian power to counterbalance the influence of Saudi Arabia. This coalition eventually transformed into the United Arab States, poised to become a regional powerhouse. In response, Iraq and Jordan formed their own union, known as the Arab Federation, with the primary goal of safeguarding the Hashemite monarchies from the influence of Nasserism. However, the Arab Federation collapsed within 6 months, following a coup by pro-Nasser military officers in Baghdad. Subsequently, both Iraq and Jordan openly contemplated joining the Egyptian-led United Arab States. However, these unions were more of convenience than true ideological alignment. Frustrations with their secondary role within the UAS led Syrian Baathists to take control back from Nasser in the 1961 coup. North Yemen followed suit, subsequently becoming embroiled in a protracted civil war. Pan-Arab sentiment waned until the 1970s, when Muammar Gaddafi proposed the Federation of Arab Republics, comprising Libya, Egypt, and Syria. Established in 1972, the federation's existence was largely nominal. Differences between Gaddafi and Egypt's President Sadat hindered full integration, and tensions escalated when Syria and Egypt launched an attack on Israel in 1973 without consulting Libya. As a result, the official dissolution of the Federation in 1977 did not come as a surprise. The weakness of the Federation of Arab Republics led to the consideration of Saddam Hussein's proposal to revive the Fertile Crescent Union. Saddam aimed to unify with Ba'athist Syria and Egypt in a union named the Union of Arab Republics, intending to encircle Jordan and use Palestine as leverage against Israel and Jordan. However, differences between Baghdad and Damascus ultimately caused the project to fail. Meanwhile, Gaddafi attempted another union, this time with Tunisia, forming the Arab Islamic Republic. Gaddafi envisioned a gradual process of Arab integration, but the arrangement's ambiguity led Tunisia to retreat from its commitments, and the Arab Islamic Republic remained a mere bureaucratic concept, failing to materialize. Over 50 years of attempts at Arab unity consistently resulted in one constant: failure. Despite the abundance of a potent sense of lost glory in the Arab world, pan-national sentiment struggles when faced with challenging geographical realities. While it might be tempting to attribute the shortcomings of pan-Arabism to cultural or personality factors, these are often manifestations of the geopolitical landscape. The vast deserts and limited arable lands in the Arab world create significant territorial barriers, with the exceptions being the mentioned northern Libya, the Fertile Crescent, the Barbary Coast, and the Nile. Apart from these isolated pockets, demographic centers are sparse, separated by vast distances. Geography, it seems, has not been a friend to the Arab world. Historical factors have also played a role in hindering Arab unity. European colonization led to uneven and jagged territorial divisions, and resource extraction shaped the region's geo-economic properties to be outward-facing. Even today, internal trade within the Arab world is not as significant as trade with the outside world. The unequal distribution of political power and economic influence has thwarted the integration of the Arab sphere into a cohesive federation. As a consequence, Arab nations engaged in a frenzied pursuit of geopolitical influence and sought foreign patronage. The Cold War further intensified this trend. Following the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, Egypt pursued a separate peace with Israel under U.S. supervision. This shift redirected Cairo's alignment towards Washington, undermining Arab solidarity and weakening prospects for unification. Political Islam stepped into the void created by the failures of pan-Arabism. Since pan-Arab nationalism had drawn significantly from Islamic achievements, political Islam, or Islamism, could lay a stronger claim to cultural sources of legitimacy. In the ensuing decades, a renewed emphasis on religion gave rise to increased sectarianism, starting with the 1979 Shia revolution in Iran. The establishment of a Persian theocracy altered regional power dynamics, with groups like Hezbollah gaining momentum by opposing Israel and providing essential social services to Lebanon's Shia minority. Subsequently, Iran's soft power influence grew stronger after the toppling of Saddam in 2003, allowing Tehran to assert control over Iraq's new Shia government. Not to be outdone, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia initiated its own soft power campaign in the 1980s. Riyadh played host to Salafist and Wahhabist schools and cultural institutions worldwide. With ample petrodollars, the Saudis spent over $75 billion in the next 3 decades, perhaps constituting one of the most well-funded propaganda drives in history. This dissemination of Sunni radicalism spanned from Algeria to Indonesia, leading to cross-border conflicts and the displacement of communities, further exacerbating tensions between Arab countries. In summary, the notion of an Arab superstate has been a recurring theme in the cultural imagination of the Arab world, serving as both a source of conflict and cooperation. Despite numerous failed attempts, the idea has influenced diverse movements ranging from nationalists and pan-Arabists to Islamists. Even extremist groups like ISIS drew inspiration from earlier Arab conquests in their pursuit of a new caliphate, albeit with a distorted interpretation of the pan-Arab ideal. The concept of an Arab superstate evokes a connection to a grand past and offers a vision for the future. However, given the geographical and political challenges, it's likely to remain an aspirational idea. Arabs initially embarked on the quest for a homeland as a nation without a state, but with continuous failures and the existence of 22 sovereign countries, Arabs have become states without a single unified nation. Thank you for watching.